Precious got buffed. Now with their skill 2, they do damage based on speed and attack power instead of just attack power. They used to still do damage based on speed with their skill 1 before, but now it is a buff to the water, fire, and light ones. We'll take a look at those today. I don't think we're going to see a lot of, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of amazing Theomars gameplay. There's not really too many people using Theomars. There are people using Theomars, however, I don't know, man. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I used Theomars personally, so I can't imagine Theomars has a crazy win rate this season in RTA, but I guess we'll see. Again, he just got buffed. So far, didn't seem to do a crazy amount of damage. They got the Oblivion on, but he does have the damage mitigation passive, so maybe I'll give him a... And also, he might have damage received from fire minus in his artifacts, so... Maybe we'll give him a little bit of credit there. Let's see if, or maybe the Tesarion is on super tanky, and not. He should still do some decent damage though. Let's see if he can one-shot this. I'm guessing they're gonna go for Riley. Okay, so 15,000 damage over there, which means that they have another stack on the Nana, which is beneficial considering she's needed to just use it right there. So they got some buffs. You know what? Well, I was gonna say that's Elsharion though, does damage based on the additional buffs. He is going for very aggressive with this Diana. I would Revenge, which actually is not the first time I've seen Revenge, so I really shouldn't be that surprised by it. I feel like I would go more of the defensive style with Diana until I had the Oblivion on there. I mean, he won, so his style worked, but I just feel like I would be so worried. I'm like, I know that I'm gonna get revenged. I'm gonna get destroyed if I use this Diana in human form too much. Just want to take a second to remind you guys what these passives are, because I think that a lot of you, some of you already play with these guys all the time. You already know what their passive skills are. You're very familiar with them. But a lot of people that just haven't been paying attention, because these guys get buffed. Every couple patches, they get buffed a little bit, buffed a little bit, buffed a little bit. And maybe for some returning players as well, you don't know how strong they actually got very slowly over the course of time. They're pretty ridiculous. So Tesarion is actually pretty good for Bruise. He's an HP type unit, and he does have a damage mitigation passive, decreases damage from enemies with no harmful effects by 30%, and increases the damage inflicted on enemies with harmful effects by 30%. So basically, as long as the enemy has a harmful effect, consider it like they have an extra brand on them when Tesarion attacks, not when everyone else attacks. But there's 3 different parts to this passive. It's so much better than it used to be back in the day. And then we also have, the second skill is the thing that got buffed, just in case you guys want to see it. Damage increases according to attack speed and also attack power as well. I will put a thing on the screen right now so that you guys can see a little bit more information from how strong the passive, how much more damage the passive actually gave them, as long as they have speed on the units, right? If they don't have a whole bunch of speed on the units, then they don't have a whole bunch of value from the addition of the speed in the second skill. But this Elsharion passive, if you guys have, again, if you guys are new or you guys are returning or whatever, you guys are just sleeping on it and don't realize how strong Elsharion got, he always did the steal beneficial effect, and applies to all allies. Increases attack power by 30% for every beneficial effect you're granted with, and increases your attack speed by 5%, and does damage based on attack speed for each beneficial effect granted on the allies. So consider it like this: if you have an attack power buff and a speed buff on Elsharion, you basically have 2 attack power buffs and 2 speed buffs. It's not quite like that, but think about it that way, is those attack power buff and speed buff kind of multiplies the effects of them when they're on Elsharion. They get much stronger. As soon as you see the Wusa Gani coming out, you know it's going to be a Hathor combination, then the Tesarion's going to follow. Tesarion and a water threat. I mean, Wusa is a water threat in itself, and also counter to the Gani Hathor. And then you see the Miles there, which is a fairly common thing with, you generally see water threats and Tesarions coming in with Gani Hathors because they're strong against the units that people are picking against the Gani Hathors passive units, and also fire and water units. So a lot of times you see those, you see like Barbara, things like that being used alongside the Gani Hathor. And then also Chews as well a lot of times. But let's see how they go for it. Miles just gets instantly deleted. They're going to go for the Oblivion on the Nana first, and then they're going to try to take down the Diana after that, right? He doesn't get a Violent proc. If you got a Violent proc, the Diana would have gone down, because, like I said, even Tesarion built as a bruiser, that defense break just being a harmful effect. First off, it is breaking the defense. Second off, it is also acting as a brand as well. So even if he's on just like a bruiser build, he's still going to be able to do definitely enough damage for that. Also, you could just stack a whole bunch of speed on him. Also, you can just not even worry about killing him with that. And there you go. He's doing more damage than he would have otherwise. So you see, this is very strong. Now, I mean, Tesarion's Oblivion has always been strong against these passive skills, but people complain all the time about, like, I don't have good RTA units. I need to summon this unit. I need to summon that unit. There's two LD5s on the right-hand side, but the player on the left-hand side, Vertiheel, Tesarion. I know we're seeing a lot of Tesarion, but Vertiheel, Tesarion, two free-to-play friendly units. One is a fusion unit, the other one is an Ifrit you just get from the guild shop. So there are some units that are very viable on RTA, especially Tesarion, in a massive passive, it wasn't intended to rhyme, a massive passive meta. Is just, some of these are the best options for the, oh my god, all those bombs. I mean, Gianna's also, okay, and the violent procs, fantastic. Well, and this is, guys, I'm intending to show you guys how free-to-play units lose in RTA. She cycles too much. Does anyone feel like maybe the Oracles shouldn't be 15% every hit with skill 1? Maybe they should be like 10%. They're ridiculous. Here's how ridiculous they just gave up at that point. They didn't have Gianna there to put 700 bombs on the enemy team. 45% attack age. I shouldn't say that because I know you guys are just going to come, yeah, beg, oh, don't say to nerf my oracles. I just picked 3, on my Europe account, I just picked 3 oracles in all the matches because they do so much and they keep giving themselves extra turns. I'm like, if they're going to give themselves 45% attack age with every time I use skill 1, I'm just going to keep picking oracles and have a high win rate. I think this might be the only Theomars match that is not in Fighter 3 of the day. Although this guy, he's got up to at least C2 with Theomars, so maybe he'll do some more Theomars stuff, I suppose. Why not? Good question. They have the Oblivion, though, to actually counter that Miho. Even though the Theomar is going to keep critting on it, they do have, and the Diana is going to keep critting on it, they do have the Oblivion, so he's going to hopefully get the Oblivion on here. Is this really... Is this really a Theomars Elsharion thing? Or is it... We really didn't see too much. We saw Iunu. We saw how strong Iunu is. Iunu takes the place of Tesarion in this comp, lols. So Tesarion, even though Tesarion is not in here, Tesarion's still so OP. Then they just went for human form. They don't even care at this point that the additional turn. They don't even care at this point that they were susceptible to getting fire liched. Because I think that they're not... So just deletes him, right? So, I mean, we at least get to see he does a little bit more... Theomars does at least a little bit more damage with his skill 2 now, where it may not have insta-deleted him before. He would have needed his traditional 7 or 8 violent procs. No, it's not Guild Wars, I'm sorry. To actually do that, but we get to see he does a little bit more damage now. This is an interesting comp. They got the Dark Howl in there, which you don't usually see too much. Bans out the Wusa, so they still have a lot of single target strip and damage here. Going for the Tesarion first, unfortunately, because we want to see Tesarion stay... Oh no. We want to say... If you Oblivioned him, he was going to crit on you! That's not what you want. You don't want him to be Oblivioned and then crit. I don't know if that was the best idea. I feel like I would have Oblivioned, like... Tried to Oblivion like the Beast Rider, so you could just snipe her down instantly. I think they were just going for the kill, but that would have been very dangerous if they didn't get the defense break, they didn't get the kill, and they got the Oblivion instead. It's just like crits on everything. That would have been amazing. I want to see that. This is the Summoners War content I want to see. Kagi get it. We already did a video of that of Oblivion Kagi. If you guys want, we already did that a couple months ago when he first came out. I was like, I wonder if he gets Oblivion, what would happen? And he did a lot of damage. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, that's already a thing that exists that we happened. It's not like a thing that's like, oh, you should try that. And people always tell me, like, I have to try things like, oh, test this out, see if that... I'm like, we did that. Already did that. Already happened. Already a thing. So often. But sometimes it's hard to find stuff on YouTube, especially when you're making 9 million videos a month. Lols. So at this point, I think that I think that we get to see how strong the Water Monkey is. I don't really think that it has anything to do with the Water Monkey buff is why they're winning. But I think the opponent wins at this point. GG. Almost got cocky. Or this match is going to take forever, and eventually they'll just chip away at them. Maybe I shouldn't say GG so fast. Maybe I shouldn't say GG. You never know. You never know what's going to actually happen. RNG happens. RNG will always reign supreme. Do they crit? Do they not crit? Do they violent proc? Do they not violent proc? Do they get the stuns? Do they not get the stuns? Etc, 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 etc. Look, Wild Cure, he had it again, right? So, that's just Summoner's War. What happens with RNG? That's who wins. Yeah, GG. This entire video has kind of lost its focus and lost its purpose. Now we're just seeing like, hey guys, Tesarion does Oblivion. First off, it's a Tesarion spotlight. That's what it's turned into. Second off, we're just seeing that Tesarion does Oblivion. That's the entire video. Or actually, I don't know, because I don't know how many of these matches I'm actually going to include in the final video. Who knows? I always record way more than we actually ever see in the videos. Oblivion, hooray! Man, Oblivion's so strong, though. Like, if anything, this just is a testament to Oblivion is a very strong debuff. Use Tesarion. And Elsharion. Not Theomars. How much are we even seeing Theomars? In Fighter 2, you can use Theomars. Guys. See, now I kind of want to use Theomars for things. Maybe we should use Theomars. I can't... Well, we could use them in RTA. I was going to say, I can't use Theomars in Guild Wars because there's no Guild Wars. The same thing is that for the past, like, year, there's no Guild Wars. There's no Guild Wars. Like, I sound like a broken record. Anytime I just stopped saying it. This is just a Tesarion video. It's still a Tesarion video. Nothing's changed. So many passive units. This whole video could be summed up in a couple words. There's a lot of passives in RTA. Use Tesarion. He stops passive units from doing passive things. That's it. Get the Oblivion on the nut. Like, the whole team, the whole enemy side is just passive on top of passive on top of passive. I was going to say, I would have been too scared to transform with Diana if that was me. I'm like, there's an Antares on the field, man. It's not going to work. He's going to cut in. He's going to cut in as soon as Diana does anything. He's going to cut it. Oh, bye-bye, Mo Long. But, yeah, they still have the Tesarion now. Tesarion, between Tesarion and Bulwark, they're going to do so much. They're going to do so much damage. And they got 2 units that do immunity. They're perfectly fine. There's only one damage dealer. Or actually, there's only one side of this match that does damage. Because you're not going to do damage with Riley. You're not going to do damage with Nana or with Molly. I think that the better strategy might be to just... I was going to say to not put any buffs on, but that's not going to work. Like, this match is already over, to be honest. There's nothing they can do. They don't have any damage on that side. So they're just going to keep getting killed. Oh, well, that's a good start to stun everyone and defense break every single one. I think that's 100%. That was decent damage, though. That was a decent damage on that Molly, considering. That was not bad. That was not bad damage. So we actually did get a little bit. We did a little bit get to see the Tesarion buff of doing more damage with skill 2 anyway. Get some stacks on there. Get some more stacks up to 5 stacks. And if they just have to tap the Molly now. Unless Molly violent procs, which of course she does. Mega Smash, and there we go. And she's back because Nana. But still, they're gonna, like, how's Nana gonna stack again? They have no damage. This is just a rant video. It always turns into a rant video. But look at this. Like, it's just gonna keep playing out the same way that I already mentioned is they don't have any damage on the other side. It's just all sustain, which is one of the issues. Like, if you bring in like a lot of supports, if you like to play with supports, is that you wind up not having that much damage. So they had Diana as the damage source, but as soon as Diana was done, as soon as the threat was done, the match was over. Like, the other player didn't realize, I don't know, I guess, didn't realize the match was over. They're just like, let me play it out just in case that 5% chance that I have of winning actually comes through somehow. But it was basically, in my opinion, it was like, unless they stun every single time, unless they stun the Bulwark, and then just wind up chipping away at the Antares and the other damage dealers one by one. But as soon as they take that damage out, the match is done. And that's kind of the thing. If you're playing with a lot of support, make sure that you bring enough damage to actually kill the opponent's masters, because that's kind of the point of the game. Anyway, that's it for this one. All we did is see Tesarion a whole bunch. That's it for this one. Remember the Tesarion video, just in case you didn't know what he did. I will see you as always. Have a great day. I will see you as always in the next one.